Welcome, everybody, to the Three Gun Show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, and this is episode 281. This is the first in a series of 3 interviews where I talk to the breakout shooters of 2019 in open, limited, and TAC Ops divisions to find out what makes them tick and how they got to where they are. First up is open division and Jon Wiedell. Jon is a junior shooter and completely tore it up in 2019, beating guys twice his age in bay matches, open terrain matches, and everything in between. This week's podcast, Jon opens up about his training, his match strategy, and his goals for 2020. But before we get into that, I have some news for you, some big news. You may have noticed there was no podcast last week, and it was because I got busy with SHOT Show. Now, in the past, I've always had an episode during SHOT Show. Didn't work out this time. I took a job as marketing manager for Stag Arms. So I was working for them full-time at the show and didn't get the opportunity to cover SHOT like I normally do for the Three Gun Show or put out the podcast like I normally do. So, yeah, you heard me right. I took a job. I'm the marketing manager for Stag Arms, which is pretty exciting. I'm very pumped to be working with Stag, and a lot more news coming down the line on my new role at Stag, but I will continue to do the Three Gun Show for as long as it keeps being fun, and so far it still is. So, foreseeable future here. I might miss a show here or there if I'm traveling or otherwise busy on a project, and you may hear an episode that I'm not in from time to time as I ask for help from several friends in the Three Gun community to fill in as guest host of the show. But I think you're still going to like it. So if you've been with me from the beginning, you know that there's been like iterations of the podcast, and I hope you'll stick around to see what I've got in store for you in the coming year, and keep an eye on Stag for more great content there as well. Also, be sure to check out threegunshowproshop.com. That's threegunshowproshop.com for all your Three Gun needs. We're loading in new products all the time from a lot of your favorite brands, including JP Rifles and Vortex Optics. So think of us when making your off-season upgrades and email us if there's something that you want that you don't see, dave@threegunshow.com. This podcast is brought to you by the good folks at JP Enterprises, the finest rifle components built by people that actually shoot the games you do. They don't sell gimmicks, just the most accurate and softest shooting rifles that anyone could want, and they do it with a smile. After years of buying select JP parts to finish off my own builds, I finally own a complete JP rifle, an LRP07 and 6.5 Creedmoor, and I recommend them both. If you want to build yourself a new 3-gun blaster in the off-season, pick up a crowd-traded super match barrel and all the other go-fast parts from JP. If you're not into building and you just want to buy it now and be ready to race, JP's got you covered there. Either way, visit jprifles.com. That's all I've got for now. So enjoy this interview with the Three Gun Show's breakout shooter for 2019, Jon Wiedell. Jon, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
It's going well, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Staying warm up here.
warm is relative. So up here, you're in Minnesota. What's warm today?
Warm today was 1 degrees.
Nice.
We got all the way up there to 1.
We were 60 degrees warmer than you today here in Austin.
You know what, Dave? Just don't rub it in.
So I haven't seen you since Wisconsin Three Gun. How you been?
Pretty good. Just school and shooting.
Yeah, is it still shooting season for you, or are you guys taking a break?
Indoor pistol league, couple 2-gun matches with Minnesota 3-gun group.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about
that?
What do you think about the indoor matches?
The 2-guns?
Mm-hmm.
They're fun. We are limited due to base size, so it's kind of hard to be able to move and shoot, so to say, because we don't have like roller barriers that some people have that like you can shoot diagonal. So all of our shooting is done straight down range, and It's fun. It's good practice to kind of see where you are, where you need to work on during the winter months.
Every indoor match that I've shot has been like that, where they don't have the roller barriers, where it's basically you just got to shoot straight down the lane. And I always find that kind of odd for a match, but it's better than not shooting.
Correct. It's different to set up to have challenging stages. Not like you're never gonna have a stage like outside, but something still to challenge you. It's hard. The range in Brainerd where I live, and we go areas, so I think they have about like 8 or 10 of them that we shoot on, which is nice. But down in the cities, the ranges that Minnesota Three Gun Group uses doesn't quite have those nice things. So we work with what we got.
Nice. A couple years ago, when actually I guess it was it was a couple years ago. So when I was living in Denver, I went to a bowling pin match indoors. Have you ever been to a bowling pin match?
I have not been to a bowling pin match.
Yeah, so I learned about bowling pin matches from Jerry Mitchell. I had him on the podcast, and he was talking about it. And basically, just like you stand up bowling pins on a table, and then you shoot them down, and the idea is like knock them off the table, right? I know. It sounds like pretty simple, but then when I get there, it's two tables and 2 sets of bowling pins. So it was a shoot off the entire time. So everyone that showed up got put into a bracket, and like if you're like you and me, right? There's 7 possible pins. So they would ask you, hey, what's your shooting level? And you'd be like, it's my first time. And they're like, okay, well, you're a kid. We'll give you like 4 pins. And I'd be like, no. You got to give that kid 7 pins. And then they would give me like 5 pins, right? So you get handicapped based on your abilities. So like the slow and steady shooters, they would get like down to 3 pins, I think. So if you're fast and you have 7 pins, you get up there and blaze like ping, 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 ping. And then, the other person's like trying to get their 3 pins, but that's how they did it, was like a handicap with pins. It was fun. It was.
Is it out of holster, or is like gun on table?
This was, oh man, I can't even remember. It was not from a holster. I think it was from, so you're standing on like the concrete, because it's an indoor range, so they don't want you to have it at low ready. It was compressed ready. So gun pointed at the target. Yep. But the butt of the pistol is at your chest kind of thing.
Yep.
So basically you just push out and go to town.
You put the laser on it.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't even think. Maybe
gamer's gonna game.
Dang. Could have won.
Come on, Dave.
I know. So yeah, the first time, so I think I went there like 3 times, maybe 4, but the first time I went there, I actually won. And then the next time I went, they gave me an additional pin, and it turns out that additional pin was just way too much for me.
Did you go full open in TAC Ops?
Well,
miss.
That was the thing, is like they had everybody shooting with everyone, right? So there's an older gentleman that had like the old DVC Omni, so like it has the brake, and he had a dot on it, and it's 2011. And at the time I was shooting like my Glock 34. Yeah. But that said, like he didn't shoot very fast. Like he had the coolest gear, but he didn't shoot very fast. So he was a little easier to beat than some. So that and like one other match with Mr. Dylan Easley in KC is like the extent of my indoor shooting.
I like indoor shooting. It's loud though.
Yeah.
For the pistol leagues that we do up where we live, we got one buddy named Tyrone who shoots 3-gun with us, and he brought in a 44 Magnum just because he knew we were going into the small range, which is super duper loud because it's all concrete walls, where the big range is rubber down the sides, so it's like quiet. But we got into the concrete walls. It was horrible. Everyone left the range when he started shooting, and it was still loud. He comes back with the biggest laugh on his face, just like, we all hate you, but it's pretty funny at the same time.
What? And so are you shooting your open gun in the indoor league?
Yep, I shoot the Honcho. Yep.
The Honcho. So got a nice break on that. Are you shooting
Singapore comp?
Singapore comp? Are you shooting a major power factor?
No, the Honcho Singapore comp runs minor power factor.
Oh, okay.
So I've been running Winchester White Box 115 grain from Walmart. So that's what I've been running, but I'll be switching up to Precision Delta this season.
Gotcha. So just a little bit quieter than the major power factor 9mm.
Yeah, I can't believe how loud major power factors. Every time I hear that,
Yeah.
I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like, you know, we shoot our rifles and they got these big comps on the end and they're all noisy and everything, but it's also like kind of directional plus another 18 inches away from your face, where like a pistol just seems like it
just seems
unreasonable,
like abusive to your eardrums.
Yeah. First time I shot a open pistol with major power factor was my buddy Bill's gun, and it was an outdoor range, but they had a cover over it, and so like stuff falling from the ceiling on you and everything.
Oh
yeah,
kind of like zombies then, in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Every time we go out there, we always like, why do they have these giant wood planks all over the place? And then you start looking at them, and there's bullet holes in them, and you're like, oh wait, that's because people shoot into the sky. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you always forget about the sky shooters. There's a lot of them out there.
There's a bird.
Yep,
But the first time I shot major pistol was Josh Fralick's Atlas, and I grabbed it. I was like, oh sweet, an open gun. It's so heavy. It's got a dot comp metal grip. This thing's sweet. Started shooting it. I was like, major power factor has a recoil. So that was my first experience.
Not for you. Decide to go the other way.
No, minor power factor is where it's at. That's where all the cool people shoot.
Well, we kind of got off on a quick tangent there, but let's take her back here a little bit. You were on earlier in the year. We were at the DC project in June, and we had you and your teammate Jay Carrillo on the podcast. But for those who may have missed that one, let's remind them who's Todd Wiedell, or excuse me, who's Jon Wiedell? Todd is your dad. Who's Jon Wiedell?
Oh, I'm Jon Wiedell. I'm a 16-year-old junior shooter. I shoot open. I came from TAC. Been shooting for 3 years now. Started pretty much 13 years old, 16 now, going on 17. That's pretty able to figure out. But yeah, that's me.
Well, there you go. And just sang at the Minnesota Capitol today.
Yeah, so exciting.
Well, so
there's no sarcasm.
Well, okay, we established that you're an open shooter. That's what we're here to talk about. I've identified you as the breakout open shooter for 2019, and it was really easy pick, by the way, because you've just been flat killing it this year. So no, it's true, man. It's true. You're humble, but you had an amazing season. So we're here to talk about that. But you said you started out in TAC. When did you get away from TAC ops and go into open?
I shot 2 years in TAC, and we had a buddy named Todd Trinko. He was getting out of open at JKM. He was going to go shoot PCC. So he was kind of like, do you want to shoot my shotgun? Do you want to shoot my pistol? It's like, sure, I'll shoot it. So we shot some open guns after JKM. And I was like, this is sweet. I love this. I never want to shoot TAC ever again. TAC is boring. Open's cool. So we bought his shotgun, put a dot on the rifle, shot 170 millimeters out of the Atlas pistol, and we went to Hard as Hell in December and just tried it out. Was able to take second out there, which was a surprise. I wasn't expecting to really place an open because I've never done it before. Didn't have quite all the gear for open, but just kind of jumped in both feet. Won't ever leave. It's just fun.
So what, two things. What's boring about TAC?
TAC's fun, but it's not like you put 20 rounds in a shotgun and 30 rounds in a pistol and you can just shoot. It's just fast speed, but there's still you still have to be deliberate because you can go through 20 rounds really, really fast
Yeah.
with a shotgun.
Yeah.
So I like doing all the manipulations on like tack shotguns, doing quads. It was fun. But once you start slamming 20 round reloads, it's just, there's nothing better.
Nice. So it's funny that you mentioned Hard as Hell because recently republished the Hard as Hell match recon because we were all sad that Hard as Hell wasn't back this year. And
So sad.
I know. And so I published the match recon that the Patreon supporters normally get right away on the main feed. And as I was doing that, I was listening to it, and then that's when I heard us like, well, and Jon Wiedell came out of nowhere for this match and blah blah blah. Max and I were talking about it, and that's what gave me the idea of doing this this series of the Breakout Open Shooters. There it is, all tied together. Your first open match.
It's like a big plan.
Oh no, I didn't realize that was your first open match though.
That was my first one.
And obviously went well. Second place.
I don't think I even shot a local before it. I think that was my introduction. Yeah, that was my first match ever in open.
Huh. Well, shoot, it fits you. So since then, you had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matches that you shot this year, 10 major matches, and 8 of them you won. You won your division. And let's see, the exceptions being Missouri 3-gun and Wyoming Governor's match to Jerry and to Joel Turner respectively. No slouches there. Tough guys to compete against. But the win list consists of Zombies in the Heartland, which was your first major match win, Nordic Vortex Trigun, Valiant Multigun, the Rock Castle Pro-Am, Jeff Kirkwold Memorial 3-gun, which was a shoot-off match, and Generation 3-gun, Wisconsin 3-gun, and Fort Benning to round out the season.
Sounds about right.
Once again, man, you're being too humble. Like, that's pretty significant, man. That's awesome.
It was a good year.
Are you going to shoot again next year, or are you just going to leave on top, or what?
No, I'm out. I'm dipping.
Yeah, might as well quit while you're ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no joke. No, I'm gonna keep shooting. Keep trying to do my best. See what happens with it.
Nice. So the first time that you and I met was to a Heritage Junior Camp. About 3 years ago.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago. Yep. And so you've grown leaps and bounds as a shooter since then. So do you have anything that you attribute that to?
Not only I'll say deliberate practice because that's how you get good. You practice, but one of the biggest things is the people you surround yourself with. Your shooting group, kind of like your buddies. So you'll pretty much always see me with Jay Crillo, Dylan Easley, Garrett Grover, Ryan Reed, just a bunch of well-known, well-rounded, good shooters. So Jay, my first major match was the Nordic Vortex Trigun, and I shot with Jay, and we've just been, I guess, best pals ever since. So that's Jay and I's story. But Jay has helped me very much in developing as a shooter. So any match we shoot, we're always with Jay. Dylan, I first shot with Dylan 2 years ago at Missouri 3-gun Championship, and my stage where 33 targets lined up and try to do it in 33 seconds or whatever.
Hang on, buddy. We had an internet problem. You cut out there real quick. So you mentioned
so sad.
Dylan Easley, and then we lost you after that.
All right, so I mentioned him twice. So Dylan Easley after I mentioned Jay.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, I remember now. I'm smart. So I shot Dylan the first time at Missouri 3-gun Championship 2 years ago, and the first stage was that 33 round, 33 seconds, Smoke and Hope, trying to finish it all. And I made myself look like a moron. Just like pew 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 pew, oh, reload, pew pew pew, oh, another reload. So that wasn't so hot. And Dylan took me aside right away, kind of just calm my nerves, help me figure out what's happening. And I shoot with him a lot, text him a lot. So he's a big role into what I've been able to accomplish. But other than deliberate practice, it's just knowing who to go to talk to and who to look for advice with. Because you can practice very, very hard, but you might not be practicing the right thing because you haven't had the experience in the matches like other people have. So that's one of the biggest things that I can contribute, being able to make leaps and bounds within 3 years.
So how did you identify the people that were the right ones to talk to?
Name recognition. I can't say that word. I'm dumb. So Jay, we got lucky because the 2A Heritage Camp squatted everyone at that match. So we got lucky. We were squatted with Mark Roth, Jay Carrillo, Randy Loof, Mark Roth's wife, like good people, like friendly people. And Jay immediately came up to us and said to us, any questions, come to me. So that was like, sweet, we don't have to be scared anymore. Jay's nice. Mark's nice. Everyone's nice. So that's how we figured out Jay was a person that we can count on. And then like Jay referred Dylan. So we squatted up with Dylan. And then we were with Ryan Reed and Garrett Grover at that match. And it's kind of just been friends since, pretty much. Everyone bounces ideas off of everyone, just trying to make everyone better.
That's great, man. You know, and what you said about, you know, surrounding yourself with the right people, that's something that's repeated all the time in business and in sort of any sort of endeavor, right? Like there's old sayings of like, you know, you're the sum of the 5 people that you associate with the most. Like those things exist for a reason. If you hang out with a bunch of losers, you're going to be a loser.
Yep. Exactly.
And when you talk about deliberate practice, like what kind of deliberate practice are you working through?
So practice is in dry fire and live fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to Nathan Payne once, and Nathan Payne said every time he touches his pistol out of his holster, it's a deliberate draw. There's no floppy draw where you kind of just pull it out, look at your gun, play with it a little bit. It's always your 3 steps: gun, hand on gun, bring it to your chest, punch out every time, because that's deliberate. You're never making bad habits by being lazy or anything. So when I say deliberate, you don't have to go to the range and shoot 30-round drills. That's silly. You go to the range, you work on one-shot draw, you get good at that. You get deliberate at that. You build a muscle memory. That's correct. And then you start moving into transitions, reloads, and that. So I always practice with my pistol first, because every drill I do with my pistol, I can do with my shotgun. I can do with my rifle. So movement drills, they all go together. Reload drills, they all go together. Transition drills, they all go together. And then in dry fire, I don't really do that much in dry fire other than reloads and draws, because if you dry fire a lot and you get really, really good at dry fire and you go to the range and you just miss everything, you're not dry firing deliberate or correct. Or you may be dry firing too deliberate in a bad way, where you can build bad muscle memory. So I don't like to stress dry fire too much. I will work the simple stuff that just keeps my brain in shooting, keeps me in shooting mode, is what dry fire is for me.
Do you ever work like any like target transitions or gun transitions in dry fire?
Not too often. Target transitions, yes. Gun transitions, barely ever. If I do anything, it's just like shotgun or rifle to pistol, because I can draw easily.
Right. Do you set up like a dump barrel and
couch?
The couch?
Couch works great. You can really practice your spearing technique.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact,
just chuck it at the couch.
We should have dump couches on stages instead of dump barrels.
Dude, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. and then you have to jump over the couch, get physical.
Oh, I'm down.
Let's do it.
And you have a place to sit in between shooters?
Yeah.
While
man, this is smart.
Yeah. While Dylan's resetting.
Yep. You're figuring it out. I like this.
Well, so all right, so there's only so much like dry fire you can do. Eventually, you got to like take it to the live range. What kind of live fire practice do you
do? Mainly movement. So I'll set up a drill. When I go to the range, it's pretty much move from box A to box B. If it's straight across, left to right, right to left, forward to back, back to front. And when I'm doing that, I break it down into draw, break my shot. Then I drop the gun, I break down my movement, and as I come into position, guns up, body stays low, punch out, break the shot again. So I'll run drills like that for about probably 10 to 12 reps from right to left, left to right. And then I'll throw in a reload, right to left, left to right, doing that same stuff. Once I do that 10 to 12 reps, start really feeling comfortable with stuff, I'll throw out more targets out there. I like the auto poppers, and we have little tiny 1/3 size IPSC gongs that we have about like 30 yards. So I do a lot of farther out shooting with smaller targets, because when you walk up to an array of 12 6x6 knockoffs at 10 yards, it's like cheating. But I do a lot of movement in live fire, and a lot of gun transitions.
Got it. So that's where you get your gun transitions is in live fire.
Correct.
Gotcha. So what of the 3 guns do you spend most of your time working on?
Out of the 3, it's going to be pistol.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
It takes the most to be efficient and fast with. There's just more complicated steps and ways to become a good pistol shooter. Shotgun, the hardest part is burying your cheek into your stock and quad loading, which you can do all that in dry fire. Rifle, the biggest thing for me in rifle would be offhand shooting and long range, and not everyone can shoot long range. We're very lucky to have 411 yards at our back door. But pistol, I do the most on because there's so much to it. There's trigger squeeze, trigger prep, there's sight alignment, there's reloads. It's the hardest for people to get good at, is what I've found, at least.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been classified like in USPSA?
Never USPSA. I went to, the only classification I'm in is UML, and I've only shot 2 UML matches. So we went to Wyoming unclassified, didn't even know there was classes really. I walked out there with the pro coin, so I was like, that's pretty cool.
Well, nowhere to go from here.
Right? I can only go down. But no, rarely shoot USPSA. I've probably shot 3 matches at USPSA.
So the indoor matches you guys shoot are not USPSA matches?
They're not USPSA matches, but they follow USPSA guidelines.
Oh, okay.
So none of the classification is there. None of the USPSA stuff is there, other than scoring and target, how many targets you can have out.
Gotcha. I gotcha. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, which is nice, because the old way we used to do it was 10-round magazines. Pretty much run here, shoot this, run there, shoot that. It just kind of got boring, so to say. So the new way we do it's much nicer.
Yeah. Yeah, when I started shooting, we had a couple I don't know, I guess like midweek matches at the range I used to belong to that did the 10-round thing too. And even though it was like 2008 when I started, it's like, God, this seems like antiquated, like a real bad holdover for.
Go get the 6-shooter.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was kind of lame. But, there was assault weapons ban that you were a baby during, so someone will explain that to you someday.
2006?
Yeah, well, that's sunset in 05, right? So
I was like 4.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't have to worry about it at that time. So when you look,
math right.
What's that? You're doing math in public?
I said I hope I did that math right.
When so you spend most time on the pistol. Is that something that you need to work on yourself, or what do you see currently as like the weak point of your game that you're trying to fix?
They're all pretty much the same, because with rifle, if anything's going to be a weak point, it's going to be long range shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to practice that nonstop. So rifle's good because it's poser, offhand, long range is what rifle is. Shotgun, the weak point with shotgun shooters mainly are slugs. And I'm not just going to go burn a bunch of slugs. And plus I have a dot, so it's cheating. But pistol, yeah, if I lay off my pistol for a week, it'll be down. I won't be at where I'm supposed to be with the pistol. So that's why I'm constantly, if I dry fire, it's usually pistol dry fire. So I'm constantly trying to get my pistol game where it needs to be.
Gotcha. Yeah. In the last, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years here, it seems like the pistol aspect of the game has like just massively increased, especially at matches like, Wyoming, governor's match that you shot. And several others where they allow PCC. So
yep.
If those turn into like option targets, like in UML, a lot of times you can lean on the pistol if you're good enough.
Yep. Like JKM.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't a open division, it was 2x4 open, and I don't have PCC. So I shot my shotgun and pistol pretty much the entire time. So it was tricky, but like, having the fundamentals and just constantly working on your pistol game, you can do it.
Yeah. Are there any pistol shots that like give you pause anymore? Anything that you're like, oh, this looks a little difficult, or is it just once you throw a dot on there, there's nothing you can't tackle?
So when I first got that dot gun, we have, like what I said, 1/3 IPSC size targets off the back porch at about 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So we shoot a lot of those, just one shot, draw one shot, or draw one shot. We do a lot of that from the back porch. Once I got the dot right away, it's wobbly. Like, geez, this is crazy. It's moving all over the place. So I almost wanted to go back to irons because I just wasn't comfortable. But now as I'm starting to shoot more, there isn't really anything that I'm like, that's going to be tough unless it's close paper that you have to worry about offset on dots, or like 60-yard 10-inch circles. Those are always challenging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trying to make the pistol shots harder and harder. Like at UML traditional nationals this year, we had, I want to say it was like a 25 to 30 yard plate rack with pistol. And that was a challenging shot with iron sights. But yeah, it's once you're confident in that though, it just becomes another array or another target,
Yeah. Pistol's tricky.
Yeah. So in your mind, when you're looking at like people that have come into the game after you, and you've got like a very robust shooting community in Minnesota, what do you think like the is the most important aspect that of 3-gun that most new and mid-level shooters miss?
Most important aspect would be mid-level shooters. Not to panic. There it is.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of panicking on the range?
There's a lot of panicking. Everywhere you go, there's just panicking, breakdown, like, what do I do? So when new shooters come in, or mid-level shooters even, it's not that they take it too seriously, but they overthink everything, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll roll up to a stage, and like at Fort Benning, we were able to follow a group of people during walkthrough day that just argued about everything. It was just like hard to be around because just everything there was a different opinion. So breaking down stages is one of the biggest aspects that they're missing because, like I said, they don't have the people around them to help them. Because mid-level shooters, they can figure out a lot on their own because anyone can. It's not that hard. But once you start putting your brain up with other brains like Dylan, Jay, a bunch of the top-level shooters, you figure things out faster, and then you can figure stuff out faster on your own because you see what the smarter people are seeing.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good point. Like I find a lot of times in stage walks, and this I'm not immune to this. This definitely happened to me when I was much newer. But if there's like a challenge, right, like 80-yard pistol shot, 90-yard pistol shot, 100-yard pistol shot, just one, right?
100-yard slug.
Yeah, 150 yeah, something like that. People will focus on that only, and then they'll think about that one thing only and forget everything else that's before that part of the stage and everything else that's after that part of the stage. And then you know, everything looks choppy in between. Like I actually saw my first major 3-gun match was Colorado multigun championship. Colorado, we all mostly shoot in bays, as I've said multiple times. But it was a bay to bay stage, right? So in the first bay, you shot all the shotgun, and there was like some sort of like facade that we were shooting through, like kind of like a little cowboy town kind of thing. And then you run around the bay, and I believe you picked up your rifle, or maybe, yeah, it sounds about right. You picked up your rifle and then shot something. So it was a little 2-gun stage. But the very first dude on our squad shot all the stuff with the shotgun and then stood there with an empty shotgun showing the RO, and the RO just kind of stared at him until that guy realized, like, oh, that's right, I got to dump this in the dump barrel and then run around the stage. Like he just looked at it as
so into it where they can't use they get so into what they're doing at the moment where they can't figure out what to do, what they need to do.
Yeah, what to do next, right? It's like you're focusing on fine detail instead of focusing on the big picture.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about the. So we ran down the matches that you shot this year, and we established that you won a large majority of them. So what these are all different matches too. I'm looking at the whole list. There's definitely different types of matches all throughout here. So what is like your favorite type of match, or what match type fits your skill set better?
I like the UML stages, like Wyoming. I loved their stages. They had 12 sweet stages.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the UML scoring that much. If you get 32 seconds, you get 32 points. I like the 100-point, 100% stages, like Gen 3, most any Midwest match. So if they can merge those, that's like the premier match in my book. But my favorite so far this year was probably Zombies or Trigun. I say Zombies because Zombies is a lot like Wyoming, shoot fast. If you make a couple mistakes, it's not going to kill you, but it's going to hurt you. Because when I shot that match, Joe Farrell was out there, so was Jerry. And there's a couple stages where I had a oopsies, and I was like, geez, they can gain ground there. But it wasn't enough to hurt me in the big picture of the win. But at like Wyoming was all about consistency because you can't gain ground in that rule set. You just can't gain a lead very hard. So Joel Turner, I watched him shoot one stage. I only watched him shoot one stage, and his shotgun just something happened where it wasn't good. And after that stage, he turned around and looked at me. He goes, "There's the win, Jon." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," or whatever. So then we go into our last stage. I go into my last stage, and I had a malfunction. And I was like, okay, Joel had that massive mess up. I just had this mess up. Hopefully it'll even out. Hopefully I'll be on top. So we check the scores after all squads were done, and he got me by like 0.3 or whatever it was of a percent. I was like, that's a bummer, but hats off to you. So in UML, it's very hard to gain a lead, but it is nice because if you mess up horribly and you think you're just done, you can come back, and Joel proved that. I like Trigun because Trigun has a very good mix of fast and technical. There's base stages, there's jungle runs, there's big bays, there's a pretty good mix of everything other than long range. We don't have long range at Forest Lake. 300 yards is about it. But I really like that match. The match directors are good. The minds that come together to put up stages, they put a lot of thought into that match.
Yeah, and like you said, very, very technical base stuff.
Correct. They use what they got very well.
For sure. And that's what was really cool about the Wyoming Governors match is that you had the mix of both, like the really cool open terrain run your butt off kind of stages that everybody likes, and then also the super technical. Yeah. I was just sitting here thinking as you were talking, it's gotta be my favorite of the year, I think, that I shot. It was a really good match. Like Pete,
it was up there for me.
I'm sorry?
It was definitely up there for me. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Pete was on the podcast before the match, and he said that it's going to be the best match that he's ever put on the ground. And I haven't shot many of his other matches, but it was a stellar match. It was really cool. But what I was to finish my thought, like you still have like the super fast technical bay stages that Pete's known for, the ones that push you to not stop the entire time. Like you never even take a stutter step.
Don't stop moving.
Just keep those wheels turning the entire time.
Keep the flow going.
Yeah. That was a good match. Hope it comes back.
I loved it. It was fun. Thinking about it, that was a fun match. A lot of stage guns.
Yeah, there was a lot of stage guns.
Good stage guns too.
Yeah, and the cool part about the stage guns is they made them so they weren't on the clock, right? So it didn't. If the stage gun malfunctioned or whatever, it didn't affect your stage time, which was cool. I was thinking about that. What was that? God, the name escapes me. We shot like a 6 Creedmoor at 860 yards or something like that.
Yep.
God, who made Gunworks?
So he had that sweet scope on it or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a high-end scope. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be fun. I'm excited for this. And I got behind that. I was like, I can barely see anything, but I also didn't want to be that guy that just messes with other people's stuff and whatever. So I was like, all right, I think I found the target. Hit. I was like, oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, it was way. So I thought it was way too zoomed in for me. And so I just kind of yanked the trigger. And I was like, whatever, I don't want to sit here and mess around with this. And so I just kind of yanked the trigger and then walked over to the starting box. And as I was walking to the starting box, it's like halfway there and I hear hit. I'm like, I turned around like, really?
Yeah, I don't think I've smacked the trigger harder in my life than I did on that stage.
Yeah, which is crazy. And it still shot fine.
Why do we punch the trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I did like those. I liked those stage guns because they didn't affect your score ever.
Yeah. Well, especially with
5 seconds.
What was that one that we shot that was in the bays? Was it a lever gun or was it?
Yep.
Yeah. So that one kept losing zero. Like the mount that was on the gun wasn't intended to be there for the dot. Yeah. So for our entire group, like we all held in the same place and or tried to walk it around, tried to help each other and spotting and for the next guy, and it just didn't work out.
No, our squad didn't even shoot that stage gun because the target fell over, and they were like, I'm not calling a cold range to go put up the target that no one's going to hit, so here's your mulligan for hitting the stage gun.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yes. I like stage guns, though. Stage guns are fun. They can be.
I was hoping there was going to be a bunch at Fort Benning.
Uh-huh.
Like cool stage guns, like a 50 cal, or like, give me a machine gun. I want to shoot a machine gun. But there wasn't any stage guns.
Yeah, I know in the past. I mean, I've seen videos of it in the past, like in the early 2010s. But I would imagine that getting approval from the superior officers to have civilians shoot military guns is a little bit tough.
Because what match is it? Rock Hard? Yeah, did the 50 cal to 1,000, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Might not have been 1,000.
Well, it was like the whole length of Thunder Valley, right? Isn't that like 1,300 yards?
Might be. I didn't really shot at Rock Castle enough to know.
Yeah, enough length of Thunder Valley.
Which surprised me. Going to Rock Castle, just the size of the facility they have. Like BC Project, Revel Peak Branch, right?
Reveille.
Revel, okay. So that was a super cool facility because that's where they train a bunch of military people too, which was super cool to see. And that was probably one of my favorite facilities as well. But Rock Castle is just cool. It's huge.
Yeah.
Like I get lost.
Yeah. Yeah. It's when you have to go out to the local highway to get to the next stage. It's like, wow.
That's when you know you're in it.
Yeah, no kidding. The first time you go to Rock Castle is like a total treat because it's just a completely unique experience. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds for Rock Castle. We hope it's all good things, but yeah, the shooting in Thunder Valley and Doe Valley and all the cool nooks and crannies that are all over that land, it's just incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah, they put out cars this last match. Cars tipped over on their sides that we shoot out of. It was fun. They put a lot of effort into the match.
That was Pro-Am?
Yep, Pro-Am.
Yeah. 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 I mean, when you got all that space, there's tons of stuff you can do. You make like a little Stonehenge out of cars.
Ryan Corey out there with control, and you're just like, ooh, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I like the Pro-Am.
Yeah, Pro-Am's a fun one. I've only shot that one once. I need to get back and shoot that one again. It's incredible to see.
Come on, Dave, you're slacking.
I know, slacking on a lot of stuff. It's incredible to see like 500 people in one place for one match. I guess 2 matches, but yeah, it's incredible the draw that thing has.
No joke. Well, so the first year I went, Jake Kosick told me straight up, he goes, this is not a match. It's a drinking party with guns. I was like, okay, good to know. So I walked out of the hotel room because we stayed on site, and it was like, whoa, that's a lot of alcohol in the air. like, wow, it was impressive. So this past year we went out and after parties. They had a cool fireworks show. We draw a lot of people out, but usually they all sit around, talk trash. But it was died down this year.
Huh.
I don't know why.
I'll be darned. Maybe everyone's grown up.
Still fun. Maybe everyone's growing up. Hopefully not. Where's my entertainment?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I gotta laugh at the adults.
Kim Peterson. I won't say why. Just, Kim, if you're listening to this, you're the best, buddy.
He's great. He's got all the good jokes.
I love Kim.
Yeah.
Kim. Let's put it at that.
Yeah, Kim's a good dude. I took a class, Keith Garcia's class with him in Phoenix. We had a fantastic time. It was a good time. I got to
We bunked with him in Wyoming.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we stayed up Airbnb, that's what they're called.
Yeah.
There was 8 of us there. And the first night we shot AM, so we were like, okay, we're gonna go to bed. Yeah. We can get some good sleep. We're gonna go shoot well tomorrow. I cannot tell you how late we were up just listening to Kim and the other guys just go at it. And they were like, oh wait, we should go outside. Let's be quiet. It didn't help. We were up for so long. Like, I think me and my sister were up till 1 o'clock. Just like, are they ever gonna shut up?
And then Joel Turner wins Wyoming. Kim, you've got some answering to do, buddy.
I pick on him enough, so it evens out.
Got to get this boy his sleep.
I lost on the 3rd day. That's when I had sleep. So come on, Kim, keep me up.
There we go. All right, John. Well, you like I said, we had a stellar 2019. So what's 2020 going to hold for you? What's your plan for next season?
Shoot 12 majors. Shoot the same 10. I think we're adding on for sure Superstition, and we are going to try to get out to a Texas 3-gun championship. Never really shot a Texas match other than DC Project. It's hard to get to Texas. Flying is expensive. But
it's pretty easy from here.
Gee, I wonder why I mystery Texas. But it's all good. We might try to get out to the SHOT Show match as well. See what happens there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I shot that SHOT Show match a couple years ago. That was a lot of fun. It was kind of weird after standing and walking all over the
selling guns, not shooting guns.
Well, yeah, and just walking around trying to catch meetings with people and stuff like that for like 5 days, doing a marathon, and then going and shooting a match. You're like, I should be like resting right now, but it was still a lot of fun.
My brain should not be thinking.
Yeah, and as usual, Pete put on like really good stages for that match, so it was kind of cool. But was it kind
of like laid back, or was it still high intensity?
No, it was laid back. Well, maybe, I don't know. It'd probably be high intensity for you because you're so damn serious, but it was laid back for me. I thought it was awesome because the people that you're having meetings with, or that I was meeting for podcasts or to create like video content or something, we were all doing our professional thing, and then it was like a big sigh of relief, and now it's over and we can have some fun. That's what it was. Fun. Yeah, so that's why I enjoyed it. It was a good time.
All right.
Yeah, Texas 3-gun's a good one too, so you'll be coming back to Reveille Peak.
All right. I like that facility. So at DC Project, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2-day match, right?
Yes.
So on the second day, after all the stages were over, I was like, yeah, I finally get to go play on the monkey bars and the cool ASAP. Because on the walkthrough day, I was like, Jay, let's go play on those. He's like, no, you're going to get hurt. Do it after the match. I was like, after the match, we got to go play on them. I ripped open every single one of my calluses that I'd gotten. And every time I shook someone's hand, I almost cried. It was horrible.
So Jay was right, is what you're saying?
Jay was right. And then I tried that liquid skin, or the new skin stuff.
Oh, that stuff
like,
burns.
Oh, this is sweet. I get new skin. I just put this on. I put the tiniest little drop on that, and I was not having it. That stuff hurt.
You might as well just put like super glue on there. I did the exact same thing. A couple years ago, I tore open calluses on my hands, like from kettlebells or something like that, and went to the new skin, and it's horrible. It's the worst stuff ever.
It's horrible. Like, I will never use it. I would just suffer through the pain.
Totally agree.
Adam Reiser, Mr. Adam Reiser, who climbs rocks and frozen waterfalls. He's just like, glue your hands back together. Grow up.
Well, he's got a point. And again, super glue is probably better than new skin.
No joke.
So John, 12 matches
I'm just
next
not gonna
year.
rip my hands open.
12 matches next year. What's the goal for? I know you had a goal going into this year, and it was high junior, right?
High junior.
Yeah. So what's goal for next year?
So I did 8 out of 10 major match wins this year, or open division wins this year. So we're gonna go out of 12. Let's go 11 out of 12 wins. See, let's put that as the goal.
All right.
Or just 12 out of 12. But there's a lot of stuff that can happen. Gear, keeping your gear running is huge, especially in open.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you need to keep your gear running?
So my dad stresses covering up the dots with those dot covers that come. Like, okay, I understand that. That's a very good practice that I should probably do, but I don't do it. So, but other than that, it's just maintain, like a shotgun. The shotguns run, but you got to feed them what distance tells you to feed them, and you got to clean them like they tell you to clean them. And if you don't, they don't run. That's on you because you're not maintaining it correctly, right? So every 1,000, 1,200 rounds, I'll clean the shotgun. I'll rip it apart, take the gas tube off, take the gas puck out, just wipe everything down. New grease. You only use grease in those things. Constantly checking dot batteries. Open guns are just, there's lots of dots and lots of batteries and crazy stuff going on. So that's what I do, is just constantly checking, double checking, triple checking your batteries, how disgustingly dirty your guns are. Like, we bring sonic cleaners to matches because we drive, so we're like, let's bring whatever we want. So we bring sonic cleaners to matches. We clean the bolts, we clean the slides and the pistol. Everything gets ripped apart and cleaned out.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. You got a truck full of stuff. Might as well bring what you want.
I know. I don't think I've ever heard anyone bringing a sonic cleaner, though.
Yep. Hook it up right in the hotel room.
Oh, I love it. That's huge. Well, you know, when we're talking about, 2020 goals, there's a lot of people that have jumped in the pool in open, and Fort Benning had like the biggest open pool I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
You're still
so
able
another match that's going to be just like that is going to be Superstition. I think there's 100, maybe a little bit more than 100, or just barely under 100 open shooters.
100 open shooters?
People are I think so.
Dang.
I think people are finally realizing that why not shoot open?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun.
Matt Kitzmiller was in Austin a couple of weeks ago, and we just published his episode today. And one of the things that he was saying is, like, everybody thinks that they're going to go to open when they're older, and like learn a new game and they're going to have fun. But why not do it now when you're young and you can enjoy it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Benning had 70 open shooters, or 71, yep. 71 open shooters.
Yeah, Tucker Schmidt jumped in. Tucker Schmidt's good.
Yeah, he is.
I knew he's a good tack shooter, and then he started putting up some scores in open without his own shotgun. He was using a borrowed one from Dissident, and I think he was shooting an open pistol. I'm not positive, but no, he was shooting an open pistol. So he put up some times, and I was like, this guy's going to be super duper good. But Tucker Schmidt will be fun to compete against in 2020.
Yeah, so he came in second behind you in open at Fort Benning, and then James Gill was closely behind in third place. So yeah, Tucker's a great shooter, man. A good dude.
It was who was third? I didn't quite hear that. I'm gonna remember. James Gill.
Yep, James Gill.
All right, I'm so smart. Yeah, James Gill. I love talking to James Gill.
Mm-hmm.
He is just a brain of knowledge, just a big ball of knowledge.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to to be about an hour away from him. Yeah, exactly. And he's one of those dudes that, like, you can ask him like how are you going to shoot this target? And he won't tell you how he's going to shoot it. He'll tell you how he's going to shoot it and why. And then, yeah, exactly. And so that's what I really enjoy about James. He's always got the why to it, and there's always science behind it. It's not just like, well, because, or, you know, because I said that's the fastest way, or because that's the way Jerry would do it.
The experience. Yeah,
exactly. But he doesn't just have the experience, but he also tells you, like, this is the experience I have with that target. This is where I got that experience, and this is what I was doing at the time. Like, he always remembers exactly where he was. He's got he's got an incredible memory. So it's fun to shoot with him, and yeah, he always goes into that instructor role, which is really nice, because it's like, keep going, buddy. I'm listening.
You just write my notes for me, please. Copy and paste.
I'll send you some notes, some James notes. Yeah,
James notes.
All right, on, man. Well, 11 out of 12 is the goal for 2020. Best of luck to you, and congratulations on the year you had in 2019. And you know, happy for you and all your success. Is like, your hard work is paying off. You're proving to everyone that hard work actually does go somewhere. So good for you, man.
Thanks, bud.
Well,
keep trying, I guess.
Well, good. Perfect. Well,
what
so
else is there to do?
Well, yeah, exactly. So what is there to do? And like you said, you know, you're young, so might as well spend the time winning away you can, right?
Yeah, I got free time. Like these adults or something, they got grown-up jobs.
Yep.
Not cool.
Well, Amax keeps threatening to buy you an Xbox and introduce you to girls, so you got to watch out for that.
You know, he can stay in Wisconsin. Then share your state. Wisconsin's just like a wannabe Minnesota.
Oh, you know that's going to hurt him because he grew up in Minnesota.
He grew up. He knows. He understands. He knows that Minnesota's just 100 times better.
Wow, I sense a border war coming.
Adam, please don't hurt me. But most importantly, Adam's lady friend, don't come at me either.
All right, John. So we're coming up on time here. So final thought or piece of advice for the audience: if you can leave someone who's listening right now with something that can help them, what can they take away from this conversation?
Like I said before, deliberate practice. Just always never being lazy. Always keeping that mindset to what can I do to make myself better, and what can I do to succeed, and just keeping yourself in check, really. Keeping yourself deliberate in what you're doing, making that sight picture perfect, that acceptable sight picture, that perfect trigger squeeze. Just always being deliberate in your actions when you're training, shooting a match, walk through day, being deliberate.
I like it. It's a great final thought. Well, John, thanks for being on the show, man. It's always great to have you. Looking forward to seeing you on the range sometime next year, hopefully sooner than later. And good luck to you, man.
For sure. Hey, thanks, Dave.
Thanks for listening to the Three Gun Show. If you like this type of content, you can support us on a monthly basis for as little as $5 by subscribing on Patreon at threegunshow.com/Patreon. That's Patreon. You can also give your business to the companies that support the Three Gun Show, including Vortex Optics and JP Rifles. And until next week, I'm Dave Hartman. 2 days out of SHOT Show, still not sick because I'm invincible and I chose not to get sick. And I'll see you on the range.